If you want to show your support and encourage my website and my YouTube channel, you can become a patron. Simply visit Patreon/Diorama Workshop today.
I want to give a huge thank you to Chris Jones for sponsoring today's video.
Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're doing something really fun. It is Hoth, and we're doing Rebel consoles and little mini chairs. Now these are the same Rebel Console A styles that we did in the 2010 Echo Base Diorama Workshop in Orlando. However, I deluxified the graphics skins in 2021 to give them a more movie accurate look and gave them a more easier application in the design. My name's Frank Diorio. You're Diorio. I don't even know my own name now. You're watching DioramaWorkshop.com. So what you need in order to build your Rebel Console A is a set of blueprints, some decal sheets, a piece of black Foamcore. You can use white if you can't find black, but black works better for building, I find. A ruler, a pencil sharpener with a pencil, a black Sharpie pen, an X-Acto pen with some blade refills, a toothpick, some glue stick, a 2mm thick balsa wood. Did I mention foamy? Yeah, I think so, foamy sheet. Then a X-Acto knife with blade refills, scissors, hot glue, a straw, some hot glue refills, a little paintbrush, and some basic art paint. I have some black and white and a little bit of Copenhagen blue here to try and match the color of the decal. In order to find the decals and download pages, you need to go into the tutorial menu of my homepage, scroll down to Speed Index. Don't go to Speed Index 6, that's the new submenu. Speed Index is where you want to go. Click on that, then scroll down until you see Empire Strikes Back, and then you're going to want to go to Echo Rebel Base Console A Deluxe. So under decals, click yes. This brings you to the decal download. Scroll down. This is your preview. Go to your little PDF icon over here. Click on that. This is your PDF decals. When you print it, remember to not print it at scale to fit. You want to print it at 100% 1:1 scale. Go back to Speed Index. Under Blueprints, scroll under Rebel Console A Deluxe and click on Yes. This will bring you to the Blueprints page, your previews, and your PDF icon here that you click to go to the actual PDF. Save this to your desktop and print. When you get your blueprint, you'll notice that it consists of two different pages. One is a template and one is actual blueprint instructions and dimensions. Page 1 is templates, which I printed on a full-size sticker sheet because we're going to mount this on the Foamcore, except for what's inside this blue zone over here. This you're going to stick on some balsa wood instead of Foamcore, and then these little pieces over here you're going to stick on foamy sheets. So to avoid confusion, I'm going to just trim off here the two different materials from the base. So I just need to do that. Cut this off over here and then just chop. You could use scissors too if you prefer. So remove this. So this is what you want, okay? You want what you stick on Foamcore, what you stick on Balsa Wood, and what you stick on Foamie. Let's go and start attaching these. So the easiest is your little Foamie piece. You just need this much amount, so I'm just going to cut this rough. And then I'm going to put my glue stick, and then I'm going to peel back my decal. Now I put the glue stick just so that it makes it even more secure than just the full label sheet glue. Come on, little peeler. Just peel this. And then apply this, and then we let it dry while we cut and place the other pieces. I found this little bag like this on Amazon for very cheap. The link will be in the materials list. So this will fit, I think, without having to use a new piece. So I'm just going to cut this in half. If you prefer scissors, just trim off the excess. Because your balsa wood is not as porous as Foamcore or Foamie, you don't need to put glue stick on here before applying your decal. So just peel. Of course, if you're not using full-size decals, you will have to put some glue. So I will apply this. Just as so. Okay. I'll put this aside for now. Grab a piece of Foamcore. Black works best when you're working with decals. You can use white if you can't find black in your local store. I'm going to peel my decal. Come on. Has like a little chad there. Just peel, peel, peel. Oh, come on, you little stubborn piece of paper. And then, look at this, it wants to stay there. Okay, now I flip this over. Okay, and remember, when you apply a large surface like this, try making it touch only on one end, and then keep it lifted, and then you're going to go from the center out. Center out. Push, lowering it, center out. Back to the center, out. Center out. That way you're avoiding any bubbles in the middle. Then you can press it better in order to make it stick really well. Now I'll just separate this to make it easier to cut. I'm just going to follow the outskirts of the color guides there, my shapes. I'm just going to trim this, put that aside, and then I'll just rough do this like that because it's two different pieces. Now it's easier to manipulate the ruler and cut my little pieces here. So I just want to put my ruler, and you're cutting on the outside between the white and where the color starts, okay? So just along the line and cut. Try not to angle like this, and you want to extend your blade and cut low to the ground to get the maximum cutting surface to get a clean cut. So here we go. Make sure the ruler is in right place. All the talking I did. One. Cut that. This is a new technique that I invented for this build. If it works well, I'm going to try and do it for all the other builds where it can fit on the paper, where instead of measuring, which you can do if you prefer using the blueprint guide or the numbers, this way you can just trace the templates and then have the exact shapes done more rapidly. Okay, so now I can trim this. If you feel comfortable, you can go freehand and then just cut along your color edge like this. Again, don't wobble if you can. And if this makes you nervous, you can always take the ruler and then place it and then slice it. Oh my God, that one almost flew into my face. You want to cut along the outside black lines for these two pieces over here. Now these are aligned over here, so you can cut both at the same time. The tops match up perfectly, so I can slice both. I'll just do this rear before I forget. And the other side. This front aligns with the front bottom, so we can slice that in one swoop as well as here, so we can make 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts before we go into the inside edges over here. Just align your ruler with the black line. Okay, these should line up, match perfectly. Now for these, if you feel comfortable, you can again use your hand. Since you're doing an inside corner and you want to clean edges here, you want to go from the corner out, corner out, corner out. If you go and cut this way, your blade will eat into your piece over here, which you want to try to avoid, okay? And when you poke here, you see how your blade is sort of like has an angle here. What you want to try to do is put this at a 90-degree angle over here from your foam core so that this side of the blade, the edge, will go in flat like this. Then you lower it to pull out. So you put it at your starting point like this. Then you poke in, then you lower and pull out. Poke in, lower and pull out. Do the same thing over here. If you see that you're starting to pull some foam core with you, like this, and you notice you're having holes in the insides, it's time to change your blade or snap the front portion off of it. In order to snap, you just find one of your grooves here, align it, and then you'll be pressing this against the table, and this metal edge here will push it up and the blade will pop off. Make sure you cover your hand of the blade so it doesn't fly in your face. So press down and it snaps off just like this. Now this is still sharp, so be careful when you pick it up. And then dispose of it in a tub like this. If you don't feel at ease with your hand again, you can use a ruler and then just go down and across, down, lower, across, and then you can cut your piece like that, okay? Okay, now here, I want to go from the corner and then stop midway. I'll flip it, go to the corner, and then meet up where I stopped, and so that the pieces connect in the center, and that'll give me the clean edge to remove this section over here. So go in here towards the end, but stop before you reach the end. Then I flip it, corner, and then connect, and see your piece will come off just like that. And you have nice, perfect corners. Now let's do the same thing on this piece. Down, out, down, out. $90, poke in, lower, 90 degrees. Degrees, stop, stop, flip, corner, connect, and there you go. Okay, so we should have all of our Foamcore pieces cut. J top, your rear, the two sides, and then B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. Now you'll notice that on these pieces over here of the templates, I put these little letters to identify each piece. And then what this is that the white represents the thickness of your foam core. So when you're going to apply it, you're going to put the hot glue on your piece and you're just going to align your foam core front like this onto your piece, and it'll fit exactly where it's supposed to. Before we do that, let's put this aside and let's cut our two little chair pieces over here. I'm going to start by separating this so that they don't cut into each other by mistake. So I'm just going to do a rough follow this line of the back of the chair, and then I'm just going to flip it and then remove offset like that. Okay, so that gives me this. So the back of the chair is easy because it's a straight line. So I'm just going to use the long X-Acto blade to do that. Okay, I can just remove this little piece of paper I don't need anymore. And then I will do the same with this, but just after the curve. I'm just going to start where the curve ends, and I'm going to just carefully go straight over here, and then I'll just trim this off. Foamie is easy to cut. It's a lot of fun to work with. And this I'm just going to cut there. For this part, I'm going to use my X-Acto pen because it's easier to cut around curves using this than the long blade. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to poke in, and then I'm going to go straight here, and then I'm going to turn, and then turn around over here, and then turn. It's tricky because it's so small, these details. I'm just going to remove this over here, this piece over here. I just go straight, and then this should remove once I turn the corner. I hope you can see what I'm trying to do here. My finger is not blocking all of what I'm trying to show. Then turn. Okay. Then the front. Just chop this off. And a little corner. Little corner. There. Go here and cut straight. Turn my corner. Go straight over here. Come out. Whoops. Keeps flipping on me. And then just cut the edge over here. Straight. And then turn the corner. Okay, I have my two little chair pieces. Now balsa wood works better than Foamcore because these little pieces are so minuscule that the Foamcore, your fingers just holding it while you're cutting it, squishes it. It's really not good. And I found that this actually works better. And it's a little longer to cut because you have to do multiple passes in order to get through the 2 millimeter thickness, but it's not that difficult. So just going to use the ruler. I'll start with the chair seat and the back, and I'm just going to pass the ruler, and I'm putting quite a decent amount of pressure on it, and then eventually you'll hear it snap there, and it just pops off like this, and you get a nice clean edge there. So I'm going to align this over here, do the same thing. There, that one only took 2. When you work with new blades, it helps a lot as well, but be careful not to cut your fingers. Press down really hard on your ruler, and if you use a cork ruler, that's best because then it really prevents this from sliding all over the place. Just cut this. Put pressure. There we go. Remove this. There we go. You have these two little pieces over here. This is bugging me a little bit. There's some white, so I'm just going to trim it a little more. But see, this piece is so small now, my ruler's wobbling, so I'm going to take an excess piece here, and I'm just going to connect the two like this so that my ruler, when it leans against the piece I'm cutting, is also leaning on this edge so that the ruler doesn't wobble anymore. I have a better surface in order to put some pressure on. So I'm going to just, it's very minuscule, but I want it to be really nice since it's the back seat. So I'm just going to trim a little, see, just this little piece over here came off. And now I have a better cut over here. Now these are a little trickier because they're so tiny, and these are the pieces that will become your feet of your chair, okay? So we can do a first long cut along here, and then at the bottom because it's the same, and then we'll go into the little legs there. So again, I'm going to take a piece of balsa over here for extra support. I'm just going to align this like that. Press down and cut. There. Now I'm going to flip it over on the other side. Cut over here. Oh, I wasn't pressing hard enough. Do you see what can happen? You have to be careful with the balsa wood. Okay, putting pressure. Be careful for your fingers. Oh, come on. Jeez, it just wants to get away. It really doesn't want to get cut up and used. This piece of wood has a life of its own. I'm just gonna do this. You're not gonna get away with it, Mr. Wood. There. It's almost done. A little piece here. There. Stubborn. So just this. Stop in the corner. And then over here. It's trying to be stubborn again. Okay, you'll feel it, the blade hitting the mat. Okay, you know that you went through. Same thing here, and you can always turn around, you kind of see it. Then I'm going to flip it to the other side, and then I'm just going to press down and finish the cut here, like this. Then my knife will connect to where I started or where I finished in the other direction there. And I'll do this over here too. These are the hardest cuts, the hardest thing to do for the whole console A. Okay, that looks like it passed through. So now I'm going to chop off each end over here, each segment. So this will just start with that over here. Now these are so fragile, these little feet here. Cut into the white and try to leave the maximum color instead of cutting into the color, which might cause your little foot to like break off, snap in half, okay? So we're going to just eliminate over here this little end. And then, in theory, because we connected here, over there, and then this we chopped off. It should pull apart. There's just like a little Chad thing hanging there, so I can just do that. There we go. And then you have your little foot piece like that. Do the same for your other piece. We're going to trim this end part over here. And for these, you can actually go back to the big blade because it's just a straight line. Do the same thing here. Press down firmly and cut. Sometimes you can do combinations of both just to see. It's a real workout, this. I'm starting to sweat. I don't know if I'm sweating from scared of breaking it or from the exertion. Okay, so here we're just going to cut. Oh, I already did that. So here we're just going to trim off these little side pieces again there. Go into the white zone a little bit. And then the white zone over here. Like this. That works. And it should pop out. There's a little Chad somewhere. There we go. So that's what you have for your little chair feet there. Okay, all pieces are done. We can put that aside and move on to the assembly. You'll notice here that your B and C pieces, they connect in the front, but because they're bending at this angle, if you leave them as is, the insides will bump into each other. So we have to trim off 45 degrees on the side here of the two pieces. Now you take your B piece and you align it over here and you'll see that your cut is angled this way, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it down like if I was going in one down motion, but at the same time as I'm going down, I'm sliding it forward, okay? And I'm making sure that the blade doesn't go through the outside here. You want it to stay right before you go through the outside foam over here. So it's as easy as going like this. Now it aligns like it's supposed to. C template goes here, which means I want to trim this angle like this. So I'm going to work it this way and then down. There we go. Your B and C connect perfectly like this now. So let's start with our J piece. J will go here. So just a little bit of hot glue. And then align it on the inside of your decal. On your template, make sure that it's flush over here. So you don't want any white exposed there. You want it to be as close to the ceiling as possible and as close to the end as possible. And as much 90 degrees as possible as well. Okay. Let that cool down just a little bit. Then our B piece will now come and be placed like this and lean against the front over here, and it'll arrive just perfectly in the corner like we have over here, okay? For your B piece, we want to put just a little bit on the bottom here on the B, and then some going up the side here, okay? Then align that. Make sure that it's meets up, it's flush in the corner over here, and then flush here so that the C meets perfectly. And then you want it to be flush as possible over here as well. Very nice. I think these guides work really well. The idea of having them, being able to use them for you to know where to place all the pieces correctly. So number C goes here. This is the inside. So this cut piece will match up with this cut piece, and it should fit with the two connecting just like that. A little bit at the bottom, then a little bit along the edge here. Press down. You want to be flush over here, and then flush with the B. It's normal if you don't have a connection completely touching in the center because the angles don't match 100%. What's important is that the connection fits nicely in the front. Next we have D over here. Now we're not going to put any glue here. We're going to do that in a separate piece after. So just at the bottom of your D, press it down. Make sure it touches the edge here, but we're going to put some glue on here once this cools off. So what's important now is just for it to be flush here and aligning perfectly at the corner there. Once this is dry, see how this moves a little bit like that. You're going to make it touch in the front, and then you're going to hold that in place with your thumb, and then you're going to put a little dab of glue just on the inside like that, and then you're going to keep your fingers really tight until the glue cools down, which could be maybe 30 seconds or more, because when you have big globs like this, it's very hot, and so it'll take some time. If you let go your pressure from your thumb at this moment, then the two pieces will start separating and you'll have a mess, okay? So you just want to be patient for this, let this cool down, and then we can move on to the bottom half. If you're impatient like me, you can always blow some cold air. Usually my friends say I have hot air, but you can blow some air onto it to try to make it cool down faster. Next up is not E, but F. We're going to place the front, which is the 1 centimeter front panel over here. And so we're just going to apply a small amount of glue along the F, and then just center this in place over here, okay, and that it's flush with your front side there. Now we can take our E piece and we're going to attach the E to the back over here and to the top part of this F piece there. Put a little bit of glue on the E, and then along the top of the F, too much came out there, and then along the side of the D piece there, over here. Your E should fit inside that. It's normal that it sticks out a little bit on your D. What you want it to be the same amount on all sides, and then you want this to be flush with your front piece there, okay, as much as you can. Now I'm going to put my G piece, which is over here, so I'm just going to put G there and on the side over here, And then this is going to press into this here on the side. Align flush at the bottom. And with your front piece here, like this. And piece H, the bottom here, and the back goes like this. And press that down. Make sure that it's aligned here, because this is your base that it's going to lean like this. You don't want it to wobble all over the place. So do that. Eyepiece goes here on I, and then on the back of the H. Isn't this cool and simple, eh, with these templates? I know I mentioned that before, but I find it so much fun to build like this. It's like easy model kit instructions. Okay, flush here. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of glue at the bottom here, like this, and then along here, and then along here. Okay, so push this in, down. Okay, align. Make sure it fits at the bottom, like that. And then press the two sides together. Make sure this is aligned. Flush here, flush there, flush here. You know the drill by now. You're gonna start hating that word, but it's what we need to do. Flush, flush, flush. If you have some glue snot sticking out, you can always rub it out like that. Now we do a dry run to see how this fits on like this. And in theory, it should fit perfectly because we cut it from the templates. So what you're going to want to do is see that it fits pretty close. It's good. I like it. And so now I can put some glue, just little balls of glue here and there. Okay, all along. And then drop your cover on. Make sure that the important parts are that you want this to be flush in the front, and your console side, you want this to be flush here and flush with the thing and flush at the bottom, and it is. So I'm just going to do this, make sure we're okay everywhere. If it's a little off like this in the back, we can trim that later. It's fine. What's important is that it's nice and clean over here. Okay, so I'm just going to put a bit of pressure on this, and then we'll move on to the chairs before we do the decals. Little chair template. So a little bit of glue on this, and then we're just going to place it onto the white template on your Foamie. Now your seat, we said we want the word seat to be in the front. So we're going to just put a little dab over here on the back, and then some on the bottom side here. Now glue, 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 glue. So this goes like this onto the white, and then you connect your two pieces of balsa wood together at the bottom over here. Just like that. Just a little bit of hot glue on the other side of your chair and seat there. And then we're going to just flip this around and put it in place like that. This is what the little chair looks like, but it's missing its feet. We're going to put the glue on here, on the fat part, not the skinny leg. This is the foot. What we want to do is connect the two little pieces like this to the long piece in order to give us this plus shape where we'll be putting the toothpick and the straw opposite each other in the corners there. Okay, so a little bit of glue on this end, and then center and position, and then just make sure that it's centered from here to there and that it's aligned center like this as well. You want it flush at the bottom because it's going to be touching the floor, but you want it to be center as much as you can on the two ends. And then when you put the other end here, it's going to create your plus. So let this dry a little bit. And we're going to grab the other end by the skinny side here. Leave the fat side exposed. A little bit of glue. And then we're going to place it exactly opposite of where we put it the first one. So that's your chair base. Now we need to connect that to the chair itself. To do that, you need a toothpick and a straw. If we look at the blueprint, you see that our toothpick has to be cut at 3 centimeters and the straw has to be cut at 1.5 centimeters. Cut this over here, and I'm going to just hold with the 2 fingers. There's my 1.5 centimeter. These are cat fingernail or cat claw scissors, and these work perfect to trim toothpicks, just like this. Pick a corner, it doesn't really matter which one. If you pick this one, you're going to put the straw here, and then opposite of it is where you're going to put the toothpick. Your straw must be flush with the bottom of your chair feet. Not lower, not higher. You want it flush with this here. Okay? So a little bit of glue, small amount. Too much will make the straw melt because the straw is like and hot glue, they don't like each other. You want to try to keep this 90 degrees so that it doesn't droop onto the side. See how it's flush over here? I want to align the toothpick with the top of the straw because the chair is going to sit on both pieces here. So you don't want the toothpick to be higher than the straw because then the chair will lean over like that. It's okay if your toothpick sticks out from the feet because that portion is going to go into the styrofoam and put your chair nicely secure in your diorama. Hot glue just in the opposite corner. My toothpick goes here, and then I just make sure that it's at the same height. So you want your toothpick to be as 90 degrees also, and you want it to be parallel to your little straw piece. Your straw is going to go where this little dot is. I want to put a bit of glue on the underside there. Okay, and now I'm going to align the straw over the O, and then make sure that the toothpick touches the chair as well. And you want it centered as much as you can on each side so the X looks like it's in the middle of the chair. So I'm just doing that. So this is what we want. We want it attached at the bottom like that, okay? And we want the feet to be as much in between the two sides as possible. If I hold the little toothpick. And so that on the side it's sort of in the middle as well. And this is what your chair looks like. Okay? It's not quite done. We have some stickers to put on it to make it look like the movie. But before the stickers, we have to do the paint. I'm going to put a bit of white, a little bit of slate gray, and then a little tad of blue because the chair decals have some blue in it, but just a slight amount. So I cut out just the 6 little sheets from the full sheet, the 6 little decals that I need, And you can see there's gray, but a little bit of blue in it. So I'm going to try to just mix enough gray and white to sort of like make it closely resemble. And then a little bit of blue in it. Yeah, that's starting to look pretty nice. It's almost impossible to match 100% there, but a bit more blue maybe. Just a little bit of blue. Just like Bob Ross would say, let's paint a happy little chair. Now you guys have to be really old like I am in order to know who Bob Ross is. But I hear he's like getting really popular again, so with the younger crowd. So what we want to do is just paint all of this surface, okay, with this paint. So I'm just going to touch up over here on the sides. Okay. And there is going to be decals, so it doesn't matter if it's not 100% perfect, okay? We just want to sort of like cover our bases so that if there's any exposed area that's not in the decal, then it won't show. And as well, the feet and the straw. The straw is the hardest part because the plastic of the straw does not like paint, and you're going to have to do 2 or 3 coats, and you have to let the coats dry pretty well in order for the paint to stick, because it's going to want to be rubbed off when you go to put your second coat if it's not 100% done. So I'm trying to get on the back over here. Okay, do this on the side like this. I like painting. Painting is soothing. It's fun. I used to have an airbrush, but the compressor broke and I never replaced it. Then a lot of time went by and I never got back to doing it. Okay, the chair bottom, or the chair seat, then the front here. Okay, let's paint some of the feet front, feet over here, and there, and then don't forget the toothpick over here. And with the balsa wood, it makes it a little easier to paint as well. And there, like that. The sides. I almost forgot this one. This. And the paint also blends in all the stuff. So if you have some like little imperfections with the hot glue globs or different things like that, you know. And this is like a little model kind of that you're doing. So it's not meant to be perfect like a 3D printer. Obviously would be the best way to go. But if you want to super clean accuracy, like if Hasbro was making it. But the thing I like about this, and like with and why I haven't jumped into the 3D printing 100% yet, is because I don't know, I find it's kind of, there's like a cheating element to it. And when you take your time to make it artistic like this, I don't know, it feels like you put more love into it or something, or I don't know, does that sound silly? But it make you feel more proud. Even though it, you know, if you do the 3D print, sand it and paint it, it's like doing a model kit in certain way. So it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that not everyone has 3D printer yet either. So I try to do it in materials that people can afford and find at home. So everyone can find straws and little balsa wood and things like that. So, okay, I'm going to let this dry, and we'll move on to cutting the decals and then applying the decals on the body while this continues to dry. So I'm just going to lay it on its side like this, and then I'm going to put this over here. I will clean my hands so that I don't put paint on the decal, so I'll be right back in a second. Okay, let's cut out this while the chair dries, and then we'll do the body. So where did I put my X-Acto? Where's my X-Acto knife? Oh, here it is. I'm blind even with my new glasses. Okay, so I'm going to cut this over here, just along the color of the shape. And then this. So your seat decals are in three sections, okay? You have the sides, which will be gluing onto the actual chair, foamies, the side foamies that you had cut. And then this is going to go straight onto the balsa wood. And then these are little cushions, optional, but I think it's kind of neat when you do it in the chair. And what you're going to do is you're going to attach these cushions onto foamy. So for this only, we're going to apply them to the foamy before we cut them out. Okay, so I'm going to just cut a small piece here, like that. I'm going to peel my sticker sheet, apply this like this, and then I can go and cut. Again, if you're not at ease with freestyling or freehand, you can use your ruler, and all you do is go along the outer shape, so it's very easy to cut on these as well. That, well, and the other side, I'm going to do it by hand, just because I can. Okay, this I don't need. When I did the prototype of the little pillows, I used the black Sharpie technique to go around the edges to hide the thickness of the white paper. But then the black of the foamy piece, I guess it would have been better to use a white foamy for the cushions because it would be closer to the pillow here. Though black makes a weird differentiation in with the chair, and so it's nicer to use a bit of the paint to cover the sides of these as well before you apply them. So even though I washed my hands already, I can always wash them again after. I'm going to take some of the paint here that's left over, and I'm just going to, without going on the decal, I don't want to paint the decal itself, though it wouldn't be the end of the world, but, and I just want to paint the sides like that, okay? Just like this. And then there's a bit of darkness on the edges of the decal itself, which is fine because it'll act like a shadow where the cushion touches the actual sides there. And then I will apply a little bit here, just like that. Okay, so that's one, and I'll put that there. The piece here that has that thick edge is actually the pillow where the character will sit on. So if you want, you can curve these before you paint it, or you could leave it square like that. I'm just going to show you the curve option. So you're just going to trim off a little piece like this. Trim, trim. Basically, you're doing three little cuts. Can you see the difference between the corners? So then a bit of paint again, just teeniest amount over here. See how it's kind of rounded now? And then in the back, you don't really need it in the back, but okay, all the way around it's done. You can put a tiny bit amount at the bottom if you want at the front because it sticks out. So here's a version I did without painting it, and here's the version we just did by painting the little foamy cushion. So you could see the difference. Sometimes you might like it better like this if you don't want to put as much effort, but I like it when you have the blending of the whole chair. It makes it look like one piece of metal. Okay, so these two I can cut along the side. So this is the easiest one because it's just square. So I'm going to cut along that, cut along here. And also, if you prefer, you could use scissors too. So I'm just going to use a scissor here, use a scissor there, Another scissor here. I'm just going to snip. There was a little bit of white that you saw over there. Now on these you have a little bit of bleed, but not that much. You're just going to go slightly inside of the white. You're not going to cut on the white. You don't want to see any white, okay? So I'm just going to go a little bit in between what you see embossed and the white, and I'm going to turn that like that. Then I'm going to turn around at the top, and then I'm going to come down. And we'll do all the outsides first. And I can come down here and then turn, go straight down here, and then turn. It's funny, I seem to sing my words tonight. And then we can go straight over here. And then this circle kind of detail. And then a straight line up the back of the chair. Where else is it stuck? Maybe it's time I change blade. Let me get another blade. Always good to change blade, even for the tiny ones, because your Foamcore and sheets and all that, foamies, they do destroy the sharpness of the blade very quickly. Be careful not to cut yourself. Okay, so this here, okay, this cuts a lot better. Okay, now I just have this top piece to cut off there. So I'm just going to go straight line here and then just slightly curve it there. Okay, this one should be a bit easier because I have a new blade. So straight down here, turn the circle, turn that, circle cut, straight line, circle. This is the only part I would say it would be advantage to work on for 6-inch figures, because then this would at least be double the size and it'd be easier to manipulate your X-Acto blade and stuff. Okay, there we go. Those are done. So now we'll move on to the body skin, and then when the chair is dry, we'll apply these. So you'll notice that the way I designed the decals is in 2 sections or 2 parts. There's the sides and rear part, okay? This is your cutting guide. You're going to be cutting here along the red and folding where it's blue. This will make one console, and then you have the option of 4 different designs for your front of the console. These were all based on movie screen grabs and different things like that, so it's sort of going to make it look like it was in the film, and also it makes it so that if you make more than one console, here you can make 4 or 3 or 2 or however you want. I can't even speak. They won't be just 4 of the same. So it'll make your Echo Base sender a lot better and movie accurate. God, that was a lot of words to say something simple. When you're doing your console A, you just pick which of the 4 designs that you want to start with, and then you can use the other for future consoles going down the road. So let's pick this one for now. Just cut along here first, and then cut along the other side of the blue. So I'm going to align my ruler here, and I'm just going to trim that off and do the same thing with the bottom piece. So I'm going to show you one side with the X-Acto and then the other side with the scissors. It's the same thing. So if you use the X-Acto, you just put your corner where the line stops or starts, depending on how you want to call it, and then you're just going to press down and go straight across. Press down, straight across. Down and straight. As easy as that. Okay? What you want to make sure is that you're not going past where the line stops over there. So over here and over here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little grooves to cut, and then the 2 top and bottom ones over here. So if you prefer, you can use a scissor and you do the same thing. You just align your scissor and then you just go snip like that. And then you do the same thing here, snip. It's actually easier with the X-Acto blade, but this is another method of doing it. This will allow you to, it'll show you not only your guide of where you're folding it this way, right? But you're also going to be folding your piece like this over to the side of your console so that there won't be any black exposed. And when you go and apply the side of your decal, it's going to lean on top of the blue and the two colors will merge and you'll have a meticulous console. In theory, at least that's the plan of the design. Now, if it works or not is another matter, but I know it works. I tested it out. So I'm going to start by just slightly folding these over here, but not too much because you're going to be doing a better fold once you're putting it directly onto the console itself. You just want to slightly fold, give a small memory of it, okay? Just like that. And then you're going to do the same thing on like that. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. Here's a bit trickier because there's no real guide for it, but it should align square. It's about 1 centimeter that it extrudes past. Same thing on this end. Small memory, and we'll do a tighter memory, more precise after. So this, 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 and like that. Okay, so we have all our folds, okay? Now what we're going to do is you're going to do, again, slight variation of the memory. This folds this way, so you're going to be just doing a slight fold like this in between your two cuts, okay? So you're just going to slightly fold so that it keeps a little memory like this, so that once it's peeled and you're going to apply it, you'll be able to bend it over easier, okay? Now this one folds this way as well, so this is another outside fold like this, okay? And then it goes inward, so this is a fold that goes in this direction, all right? And then the same thing for the keyboard part. This goes inward like this. And then on the edge is going to go outside like that. And then one more time outside here. And then this last fold here is an inner fold, which would be this. So now you kind of have a loose memory, okay, of what the console shape looks like. So you could do a loose fit, okay, and you'll see that your pieces should all line up properly like this. Cool, eh? If I do say so myself. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to apply a little bit of glue stick on the surface of this. if you have a peel sticker like I do, you don't really need it, but what the glue stick does is it gives you a leeway that if once you do the contact and you want to wiggle it a little bit, you have some wiggle room that the glue allows it to not completely stick to it. That was a weird sound. To attach itself, you want to be able to, like, you know, move it around like if there was a little bit of Vaseline or something, or car grease or something. So I'm just going to apply a little bit over here. There is a slight offset here that might cause the decal to bump over. I'm wondering if I should I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. You don't have to, but it's very minimal. Continue with the glue stick and the front, the top, and then the bottom over here, underneath. Okay. A little bit on the sides where you're going to overlap so that if you need to, you'll be able to manipulate that as well. So side, 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 just like that. Okay, now when you're peeling, be careful, because we did these little grooves there, it's going to want to stick to it, and you don't want to tear in the middle of your decal. That would be disastrous. So be careful when you're peeling it to peel it very carefully, okay? And make sure that you're not tearing anything. This is weird. This decal sheet doesn't have a fold in it yet. It's like oh, there's the fold. Oh, that's why I didn't see it. It was right in the corner. Okay. So now what we're going to do is the best place to align it first is this 1 centimeter in the front here. So we're just going to place this, okay, loosely. And you're going to align your folds, try to align them from the sides there. Okay, that's why having the glue stick is good, because you're able to move things around a little bit. So I have to move this a little bit off to the side, and then I feel that feels good. This feels centered, yeah, a little bit like that. Okay, then I start slowly moving these closer. Okay, I'm going to push this down until it reaches over here, and then make sure that it's still aligned as even as you can. Sometimes you have to like lift it and move it just slightly, and then this works on here. Make sure that you're going to first push this piece down like that, and the same thing on the other side over here. Then you can lift this over here, and then you're going to push this all the way in, okay, so that it touches flush over here. Then you can fold that over, and then you can move this. To avoid bubbles, try to push it center out. There's going to be a crease here. I can feel it. I didn't put enough glue stick to wiggle this around. And then fold this up, fold this down to the side, down to the side. Okay, and then this goes up here, like that, around center, center out, do your folds, fold that, like this, and then fold this over. Okay, see how the blue now is going to hide the black when you put the center, at least somewhat. This folds over like that. This folds over here, just like that. And then this goes over the top. There. Okay, so we have our folds. Oops. Okay, and like this. Okay. We want to follow the guides here. Red is the cutting and the blue will be the folding. So I'll be cutting this here. I hear some movement upstairs. I bet you Nellie is on her way down to jump on the table wanting to have her treats or be brushed or something. Just as I'm almost finished building this. Like that. This aligns flush over here. I don't want to cut the bottom here. I want to just cut the sides. So if I wanted, I could just do what I did before and just do with my freestyle or freehand. And I always mix up the words. It's a good word. Like that. In the corner. And then corner out. Flip this. Corner connect. And then this one, corner connect. And here. To the center. And then spin it around. Corner to the center. This is what your decal looks like, and then these are your folding lines over here. So this is going to be your floor bottom. Originally when I was designing it, I wasn't going to do a bottom or even a back, but then in the movie there's the scene where there's the stormtroopers invade and then the consoles, like, they're toppled, and if you place them in your diorama where like they look like they fell over and then you'd see unfinished back or bottom, it would look silly. So this way you're going to have a bottom which is the same texture as the front, so it'll make the diorama look cooler. Now you're going to fold this here at this line. This is your rear console over here, and then this is the other side, and hopefully it will wrap itself around. Apply my glue stick only on one side because it'll dry quickly, and I want the ability to manipulate this. So I'm going to apply that. Again, be very careful when you peel. You don't want to tear the decal when you come to like oh my god, I can't pronounce and speak English today. Complex. How about we use the word complex? Complex shape. Okay. Now you're going to align this over here like that. Okay, so center out this way. Okay. That looks pretty clean actually. Okay, and then now I can move on to here. Put glue stick at the bottom and on the other side, just like that. Okay, fold center, center, push, center out, push, center. Press here to fold. Okay, and then you can fold at the bottom as well. Do that. And then fold over on here. And then we push center. And then lift. See, with the glue, you're able to move it along a little bit and then try to push it a bit more and make it fit as close as you can to the edge. So center out, center out. Okay, so we have our console all wrapped up, but then see little lines here and stuff. So what we want to do is now use the nail technique like we do on some of the Death Star videos that you've seen, and we're just going to curl the nail, our fingernail, around like that, up and around, in order to give a better blending of the decals. Okay, so around, up and around. This getting squished a little for some reason. The Foamcore, I guess, was fragile. And then, well, it will be good for the scene where it's just, there's the destruction. So there, and then here, around. See how I'm bringing it around and it's making a little bit better of a blend instead of the dark edge there, like that. So just keep going around like this with your nail. And then the glue and everything will make it all blend together. There. Same thing here. Blend around. Around. Usually I would put a skin of poster board in between the decal itself and the front in order to prevent the edges to sort of like gondole up or bundle up like that, bunch up. But I didn't do it in this version, so maybe in the future ones I'll do it just to make a cleaner blend and you don't feel the surface bumps there of it. But from far away it looks pretty cool, unless even an up close inspection. What do you think? For a minute I thought we were finished, but we still have the little chair, the decals to put on the chair to finish it. So let's do that now. If you want, you can put a little bit of glue. Oh, don't push too much. I forgot that it's not super secure because it's, oh, I just broke the glue off. I forgot how strong my manly hands are and how fragile this tiny little chair is, and I kind of like bent it as you saw just earlier. So I'm going to re-glue that and then we'll apply the decal the way it's supposed to, very delicately. Let's peel the other side. And you want the black circle at the bottom of the chair, and this will go in between over here, just like so. Place it centered. Oh, I have the hiccups now. And then fit it in between the foamy with your fingernail so that you have a little bit of a lip in here there. With the chair paint, the sticker blends in and it looks like it's a embossed 3D. Of course, if you wanted, you could put little greeblies and create a 3D look by putting little washers and little pieces of foam core and some string or something for the wires there. Once it's placed in your diorama and from far away, you'll never tell. This doesn't really matter what orientation you put it. Let's just stick it here like this. And sometimes it will stick out the top a little bit here, so you'll fold this over and it'll actually hide the thickness of the balsa wood and give you a better look in the end. So now I'm just going to fold this over like this, and it'll attach to the back of the chair. There. Peel this, and then we're going to stick it on as such. Align the ends over here, and then this piece should go there. And so the decal, the texture of the decal actually gives it a more detailed dimension than the cut of your foamy could. So that's one side. See the difference between the two sides? A line with the top, and then we're almost done. We have our little pillows. So the first thing we want to do is put our cushion. You don't have to glue these. They'll be tight enough in between the two, but you can if you wanted to. But this you're going to squish here like that in between. Press down like that. And then this one goes in the top over here. As such. Put this back. Once the figure is sitting, you won't be able to tell. You could put a little drop of glue since we have some hot glue there. A tiny amount of hot glue, the slightest amount. And then press it down on top like that. Squish, squish. Okay. And then we could do the same thing on the back. Why not? A small drop in the back here, like so, and then lower this to touch. Push this down to touch the seat at the bottom. Your little Hoth Console A chair is now done. Isn't it cute? Build is now complete for one console. Now, if you want to place more consoles, you can. I'm going to make 2 more just to show you what it looks like in the display. And let's just move on to that right now and see what it looks like. And there you go. Your A consoles are complete. Once you put the action figures and you place them inside a basic Hoth background, they really come to life. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're going to be making these consoles yourself along with the B and C consoles that will be in separate tutorials. If you like what you saw, remember, subscribe if you haven't already, do the bell, do all the stuff that everyone likes to do or that is supposed to do or whatever in order to help the channel grow. And I really appreciate your visits and your comments and everything. I do read and post and replies to everything. So again, my name's Frank Diorio. You're watching DioramaWorkshop.com. Ciao for now. Bye. Thanks for watching DioramaWorkshop.com. If you want more interactivity, you can follow us on these multimedia platforms. If you have a question about past or future Star Wars Celebration workshops, send me an email at dioramaworkshop.com@gmail.com. If you have a Facebook account, join the official Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders fan club today. If you like the video, please subscribe, share, and tell your friends to come check us out. If you want to see even more Star Wars Celebration crew coverage, click on the link to warp to dioramaworkshop.com, the official Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders website.